friends at Tivoli Brewing Company and the Department of Communication Arts and Sciences at MSU Denver, this is Unfiltered. And here are your hosts, Jay Schrader and Dr. Samuel J.
Lock is a dance, for sure.
A friend of mine, he likes to consider his DJ name Sir Pops and Locks a lot. Yeah. You say that after a couple of shots, it's almost impossible.
It gets there.
Yeah.
It's, wow. I never had the moves to pull something like that. Can you hear everything, Jay?
A pop and lock?
A pop and lock?
I can hear everything.
You good?
I'm excited because I was listening to some live FM radio yesterday.
Yeah.
And the DJs had a little banter, not unlike the way you and I pull this shit off.
Yes.
And one DJ, both headphones on, one DJ rocks at one ear.
Had the one
yeah, and they were having an argument about the background noise.
Well,
so, but in here today, it doesn't even matter.
No, it's
I
nice.
can hear everything crystal.
Well, we're here. We are, where are we, Jay?
Man, we are in Resolute, otherwise known as the furthest brewery from anything I've ever seen. You guys are way up here. It's amazing. Beautiful day outside. We got some weird cloudy weather coming in. Mm-hmm. Sam doesn't like to date this stuff, but that's all right. No, Resolute Brewing's new taproom and barrel location just outside of the Candelas development in technically Arvada.
Yep, this is an Arvada address.
Awesome. And that is the voice of our very own...
This is Sam Layle, a.k.a. Sam Sly.
And Sam, what do you do at Resolute?
I do a little bit of everything. I do some marketing. I like to call myself the international man of marketing, and I also do some beer tending at our original location in Centennial and here at the Tap and Cellar location too now.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us today. Thanks for having us up here. It's something we've wanted to do for, I think, several months now, right? We've been trying to plan this one.
Talking about this for a while, yeah. And Samuel J., the good doctor, and I both very, very close proximity-wise to the DTC location of Resolute. So this is exciting for us to get up here, check out the new location, sample maybe some of the new stuff. There's a special secret ingredient up here that Sam Layle will chat with us about, I think, here. Talk about the specialty going on. But, yeah, what do you think, Samuel J.?
As one who has been to the DTC or Centennial location several times.
Once or twice?
Yes. This place, the beer is about, I'm assuming, to be just as good. The feel of it, right? I mean, it's almost identical to what we see down south. A little bit different kind of setting in the sense that we're in more of a residential area. If the southern location is very much kind of tied into DTC and the business environment. In fact, Jay and I were just talking about how busy it's been down that way with just business people. But I think, Sam, moving up here, what kind of decision making in terms of reaching that residential audience went into, or how much did the residential audience go into the decision making to choose this location?
It was definitely a big part of it. Our owners are all very, very savvy with their decisions and everything, and we knew this Candelas development was, being built up, and there's still more to come in terms of housing. I can't remember what percentage is still remaining to be done, but there's more coming, and there aren't exactly a ton of breweries up in this area. I mean, the closest ones really we're looking at are down in Golden for Holidaly and Cannonball Creek. So it's a very rare beer desert almost here in Colorado, which is kind of unheard of. So
Not anymore, though.
I know. We just plopped ourselves right in the middle of that.
That's perfect. Yeah, and I did a little digging into this, and I got up here early and drove around the hood for a few minutes, and I mean, damn. It's like I would imagine 90% of the people that live in this neighborhood drive right past your front door at least twice a day.
Yeah.
So it seems like a no-brainer to me.
The minute we announced the location, we did like a little set of teaser videos to kind of build up the anticipation and stuff. And the minute we said we're going in Candelas, we started getting emails almost daily. When are you opening? When are you opening? Like it was a plot of dirt basically, and they're still, when are you opening? It's like, all right, give us a few months, please.
A lot of thirsty folks up here, but you guys have been open since Memorial Day now to really sate that thirst. Is that the right word?
Satiate?
I think sate is the past tense of that.
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
You guys.
Boom.
Good, nice work. You had mentioned it a little bit before we got our interview started. You don't have to give away any secrets, but when you are launching a new location like this in a place such as Candelas, what kind of approaches do you take in order to build up business? Because you had said we don't want to, throw out a bunch of mailers immediately. We want to kind of wait. So as a person who's an expert like you, what kind of vision or strategies are you prepared to kind of put in place?
For me, I mean, media is a big passion, so I figured showing is half the battle. So like I said, we started with some teaser videos, which started out like on the moon, and there's a moon dude on a scooter, and they're like, hey, where's this new Resolute Brewing going? And like, oh, take a look to your left, and there's planet Earth rising. And then I got more and more specific, so I went from like Earth to United States to Colorado to Arvada, and then finally right here in Candelas. So, just trying to pique people's curiosity. We had a pretty good following, social media-wise and just brewery-wise. We're entering our third year as a brewery in Centennial, so we're not the newest kids on the block anymore. So once that happened, we just kept trying to show update pictures, getting people psyched on the area, and really it kind of fed itself given the beer desert area. And once we started sharing pictures, people started going crazy and sharing those and commenting on that and just getting natural boosts.
Nice.
And then I always try to keep emails a fun factor. People still discount email a lot, even though it's to me, it's a very personal, intimate activity that you can do with somebody. They're choosing to let you into their little inbox world there. So really, my main strategy is to first get the flames going and then keep stoking them gradually for the next 3 to however many 4 months that it took us to get this thing up and running.
Did you guys do ad spend? Like, did you spend any on advertising in this area, or you kind of just let word of mouth at this point take over?
We let word of mouth. I mean, really the only spend we did was maybe a few pushes on some Facebook events.
Okay.
Nice.
Otherwise, we kept it pretty organic. That's kind of been my mantra for a long time is unless it really seems like the best way to go, if you can get it for free first, then other than what I'm getting paid, then boom.
Yeah.
Absolutely, no.
For those of you that don't know this about Dr. Sam J, he's a bit of a marketing and business aficionado when it comes to Facebook. So I'm pretty sure now I'm going to start my next podcast is going to be Marketing 101 with Sam and Sam. See if we can hijack the space here.
It sounds like he's much better at the tactics, the strategies. I think my background's culture building basically.
Yeah.
There's no better industry than craft beer to build a culture around a particular brewery.
For
right?
sure.
Like Russian River is done it. They're the perfect one. Founders, right? Being a guy from Michigan. Yeah.
I'm an unabashed Founders fan. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it comes down to that. It's kind of a unique industry in that sense. I don't see that kind of stuff happening with marijuana at all. I don't see that kind of building around culture, but there's so much about not just craft beer, but even just craft breweries, individual ones that people take their identity from. Like they really define themselves in some way, shape, or form to their connection to that given brewery. And so once you've built that, at least in my opinion, and I'm actually writing a blog post about this, is you have these brand advocates, right? You have these people who are going to go out and kind of spread the word for you without having to pay them.
Yeah, it's. I always attribute it to kind of like a band. The beer industry and echoes the music industry in certain ways, and it can be good and bad. It can be, for the better or the worse. But I was a big music fan growing up, and the more I've thought about it, it kind of makes sense that I transferred into beer, not only because I like to drink it, but just you get that interaction and it's that personal feeling, and you can feel like, all right, this brewery is, these are my people. They get me.
Beer drinkers wear it on their sleeves, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes literally with tattoos.
Well, yeah. I haven't gotten my beer tattoo yet, but
it's coming.
Maybe next.
Yeah, we'll get you enough Imperial Stouts in you.
Boom.
I actually got my first one about a month and a half ago. Real late night with one of my coworkers.
Is it an eyeball compass?
No, it's a hop.
Oh, okay. A tramp stamp hop. I like it.
On my calf muscle.
Oh, that's better. Okay,
It's not a late night drunken tattoo, but
that's
first
all right.
tattoo in like 16 years.
That's awesome.
Hey, those are the best times to get them, I would assume.
Yeah. Good decision making occurs after dark. That's my experience.
Yeah.
Talking about culture. I mean, here's the thing, right? DTC, huge avid following. And Sam Layle indicated that daytime hours might be a little bit slower than Sam J or I would be accustomed to in the DTC. But, I mean, this gives you guys a huge opportunity to reach a whole new demographic, right?
Yep.
What's your experience or what's your anecdotal thoughts on the fact that, I mean, are you seeing a lot of people coming up from DTC? Is it all new experience for virgin drinkers of Resolute, or do you have a good mix?
Here at this location specifically?
Yeah, here specifically for sure.
From what I have seen personally, it's still very local. When we were doing like our grand openings and some of our soft openings and stuff, that's where we would see our usuals from Centennial coming up here, I think, and they were interested in trying out the new beers because, all the barrel aged stuff here is not making it down to Centennial yet. But now it's definitely, it feels like its own locality up here. And, kind of alluding to what you were saying, Jay, there's not a ton of businesses around yet. So, people are coming home from work. They got to get the kids all rounded up. And if they're going to eat dinner, we get a lot more questions of who the food truck is.
I was
today.
just going to ask. Yeah, you got to have a pretty good food truck on the reg here, huh?
Yeah. We try to have one every day, different food trucks. You get a little bit of variety, but we want to feed everyone, make sure everyone's happy and has a good experience here. So it's been interesting, like you said, anecdotally working here versus working down south in that fact.
So I guess my next big question is, you guys got any what are you maybe 25, not even 25 days in? Any Cliff Clavens, any regulars at the bar?
The ones who couldn't wait for you to open.
Anybody that parks it there from just after the mail route's done until close of biz?
To my knowledge, no. But if there is, it'll probably trickle back to me sooner than later, or someone will tell me when I'm working up here. But I've had plenty of people say, "Oh, we'll see you here again," and I only work here 3 or 4 times a month. Like, we'll see you here again.
Awesome. That's the best feedback you can get, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean that's what I want to hear, especially as a marketing person for the company. I mean it's a 25-mile drive, so I want to work up here, one, because the view is pretty gorgeous.
Yes.
And 2, I want to get a feel for who our clientele up here. If I'm going to be trying to talk to them through social media or email marketing, I need to know who I'm talking to,
That's perfect, yeah.
So, obviously, there was a strategic decision to separate the beer offerings here from the beer offerings in Centennial. So as, let's consider all of ourselves kind of the elite. I don't want to say elite, but we are that kind of, we're not your regular beer drinker, right? We drink a lot of beer. We have a taste for beer. How do you sell this place to people like us? Like, what am I getting here that I can't get in Centennial?
For right now, the barrel aging is the big push. And I kind of alluded to the fact that we don't have any of it yet in Centennial. And if I'm speaking out of turn, Justin, who's our head brewer, you just let me know. But I believe the plan is to eventually get it to the point where we are sending some down to Centennial, so our southern customers that can't make it up here can get to try it out, and everything else is kegged and brought up here. So I mean, you were kind of, Sam, you said you hope the beers are the same, and you're literally drinking the exact same beer that we are drinking in Centennial. I think 17 of our 20 lines are all keg based. Okay. And then we have 3 that are up to some tanks for storage, or whatever, the bright tanks. So we can pull off tanks eventually.
Gotcha.
Excuse me. So, yeah, at this point, we're doing a lot of logistical learnings with keg deliveries and stuff like that. In fact, I know for a fact a few of my brewer friends from down south are on their way here with kegs right now.
I was just going to offer to take a barrel down with me if you guys needed to. No guarantees it'll be full, but I got room.
But
yeah, right. Might just fall off the truck.
Usually when I make that offer, it ends up going really well.
Yeah, exactly.
I've walked out of here with, not here, but walked out of an interview or two with more than my fair share of free beer, which is amazing. But so barrel aged, that's the key word up here, right? And I can see, I don't know, 12. It looks like at least 18 barrels right in front of me. Just took a great impromptu shot of Sam Layle with the barrels in the background. Tried to keep Sam J out of the picture.
Yeah, for the best.
It really is for the best.
2 Sams enter, 1 Sam leaves.
Yeah. Exactly. Make sure you showcase that free, all this free equipment that we got from my real job.
Oh, no. He's hiding behind. He's hiding all that for you. Okay. No, so barrel aging, I mean, everybody's talking about it. Everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
What makes Resolute's barrel aging program or system, or
this is good.
What I mean, just give us what's so great about Resolute's barrel aging? I mean, is it new, or were you doing it before in the DTC?
Yeah, so far this is brand new for us. We technically did in the DTC only because we had to start barrel aging beer there before we were here, because once you can't bring alcohol on site until you have like your occupancy, whatever.
Right, certificate of occupancy.
Okay.
So we literally had to start barrel aging beer 6 months before, because in most cases, barrel aging beer is best done over a good stretch of time. You get the most out of it from the barrel flavors, and sometimes the beer really does a lot of good maturation and conditioning in the barrels. So we've technically barrel aged on there, but we've never served a barrel aged beer there because we don't have space. All of our production space is used for our fermenters and our bright tanks and our main brewing system. So for us personally, this is new, but our head brewer, Justin Burnside, he's got plenty of experience with this. He's got an amazing resume. He's worked for Brewdog. He's worked for Stone. He came from Mockery downtown in Denver. And
our mutual friend Mockery.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Some
Good people
interactions with them recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he is a big fan of working with barrels, and it's a passion of his. And so he will be doing a lot of his time up here tinkering with the barrels and putting on a really wonderful product. So that right now is it's kind of an experimentation phase. These are our first batches, and we haven't really gotten into them just yet.
No,
Here in
but
front
please
of
do,
us.
because I'm pretty sure looking at the board, I just almost sucked down Fluffy the Lemon Slayer.
Yep, you did.
Man, that thing is damn
Yummy,
good.
yummy.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I've always been a lemon fan.
Yeah.
I try to drink mine in order, lightest to darkest.
I swear it's the weather. I was like, oh, that stout looks
For
good. I'm just
sure.
gonna have this. So what is this? What
So
is this?
that
This
is actually the front of me. That is an imperial porter. That is
the porter.
or an imperial coffee porter. Excuse me. That was aged in. I want to say it was like maple jack or something.
Wow.
There's some sort of maple component to it. I have been not doing my due diligence on our barrels as much as I should have at this point. But
That's all right. That's
yeah.
why the board's up there, and I'm a big fan of reading it right off the board so we don't screw it up
yes,
for you.
and
So,
I appreciate customers like you who read things.
well, it's about the only thing I can do.
So what is I mean, we've interviewed enough breweries now. We've been around the scene as consumers for several years. To me,
Many years.
Yeah, but I mean, Resolute has always kind of resonated, at least in the southern part of town,
I appreciate that.
as being this rather successful craft beer or craft brewery. And now, obviously, open up this new space. There's proof that you guys are doing just fine. What is it, as the director of marketing, that you think Resolute does so well that allows them to have, or you to have, the success that we're seeing?
We have excellent people. Our owners, they have other jobs. This isn't their primary thing.
Okay.
And they're all very business savvy, so they hire people that know what they're doing. They hire our taproom manager, they hire our brewers, they hire me. If I'm gonna toot my own horn here.
Go ahead.
Thanks, guys.
Toot away.
This will be my last interview.
Best decision they ever made at Resolute.
Yeah.
Sam Sly.
Yeah. But no, our entire staff, whether it's a server, all the way up, is a fantastic person, and they are getting behind the cause. They stand by the pillars of craft, community, and culture, and they embody that. Our 4 owners, they all grew up in the Littleton area. 3 of them went to Columbine, and so they're very immersed in their communities and in their families and all that good stuff. So they wanted a place where they could basically embody that as a location, and I think they've done a good job of that. And not to say we haven't learned some lessons along the way, and I haven't been here from the very, very start, but when we were opening up this location, I heard a ton of horror stories from the grand opening of the first location, where they just learned a ton of stuff about glassware, having have enough point of sales, and how to manage
Parking,
the crowd.
I
And
bet, too,
well, that's
down there.
a big issue down south, as you guys are probably aware of. But this is all
Here,
ours.
no,
here.
it's just- this is awesome. You don't
We
have
have
to worry
a
about
sea
it.
of parking now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I feel like a Sandlot baseball game could break out and still be plenty of space out here. So
there's enough kids here that has probably happened.
yeah,
so.
this is. I mean, I'm blown away. It's amazing. Repeat that mantra for us, real quick, Sam Sly.
It is craft, community, and
I
culture.
like it.
Alliteration.
It matters, Jay.
Yes, it does. You know what? Having a mission, having what is that? An ethos.
Yeah.
I mean, not every brewery has that.
Yeah. No, I would agree.
It's good to hear somebody that they have a plan first and then beer. And your comments on hiring the right person for the right job really speaks, I think, to what Sam and I see sometimes in these breweries. Not all of them, and maybe not anybody that we've necessarily interviewed, but
Yeah.
a brewer's not necessarily a good business person or a good architect or a good layout guy, or
Yep.
certainly not necessarily the best at social media marketing. Sam J.
No, it's
Am
true.
I right?
That is very true.
These usually evolve into impromptu offline discussions about when and where and how to market the
and
the
the
beer.
failures.
Right,
That's
Sam's
good.
pretty quick to point out what they did wrong.
Yeah,
So
that's how it works.
Got to learn from those failures, right?
Yes,
yeah,
you
that's
do.
all right. It's
You
cool.
don't
It's
learn
usually
from them.
their failures,
Yeah.
not mine. Okay, so
Right. But that being said, I mean, you can't run a place like this without having each person in the right place at the
Yeah.
right time doing their job. I
Yeah.
mean, I can't imagine Sam Sly's back there pointing out problems with the barrel aging process.
Nope, unless it's just gushing beer, at which point I think they figured it out.
That looks
like a
Probably not the
problem.
first one to that problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
International man of beer and stating the obvious.
Yes, that I could. Yep, put that on my tombstone.
Yeah.
That'll work.
All right, we'll save the second half for the tombstone.
if you think about the successful breweries that we've talked to, they are the ones who understand what they're not good at, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Especially whether that is the brewer or the owner or the brewer owner, right? What aren't we good at, and where can we hand this off to somebody like Sam here to do our marketing, or somebody
Yeah.
else to do our financials and all of this? And I think that is that's leadership to me. In a lot of ways,
100%. Yeah. I mean, and it's still good to have somebody involved. I mean, you guys have, I don't want to say absentee ownership because I don't know the full story on that necessarily, but it sounds like you have good, solid leadership that gives you guys a long enough rope to hang yourself with is what I like to think of.
Yeah.
No, that's accurate.
But at the same time, I mean, there's, and there's nothing wrong with that. We also see good brewery owners that roll up their sleeves and they get involved, and I'm sure that your four owners have plenty to do with the day-to-day stuff as well.
Oh, they
Just-
have plenty of blood, sweat, and tears in this very building right
yeah,
now. I can
yeah.
guarantee you that much.
I can see blood seeping out of the seams over there.
that might just be the poltergeist, but
We did make reference to some horror movie potential up here with the weather and the new housing development.
yep.
Yeah.
You definitely see it. How did so what's the history with the brewers? I guess how were they hired, and then how much time are they spending up here?
Ooh, that's a good question. So Justin actually joined us in January of 2018. Literally on January 2nd was his first day with
Okay.
us.
That was my birthday.
Well, there
one
you
of
go.
one of them anyway. I think I was 27.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, I was going
27.
to say happy birthday.
Yeah. 27. You've aged in the last
Yeah.
couple of years.
It's been a rough 18 months.
Yeah, wow.
Ever since we started talking about this podcast, shit's gone
Exactly.
downhill.
That's what they do to you, man. I
Yeah.
used to have a full head of hair.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, this is the longest my hair's been in forever, and
Yeah,
nobody's
that's-
liking it. So,
No, I guess
I
I'm
get it.
doing okay, but my insides are probably rotting.
Yeah.
well, yeah.
So there's
I
that.
get some anecdotal feedback that it mine in fact is.
Oh,
we
my
don't.
God.
We don't need to talk about. Never mind.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
just skip right over that. But so
So,
Justin,
yeah, Justin's been around.
came on in 2018. Our assistant brewer Matty G was actually behind the bar right now.
Nice.
Matty
He
G
started-
running around.
Gee.
He started out as I believe just as a server, and then he went up to brewing intern, and ended up working up, intern, cellarman, all the way to assistant brewer.
Yeah.
Over the course of several years. I think he's been here since day one.
Pretty sure I saw him pull the mop out a few minutes ago too. So
Oh, yeah, no, he does everything.
Point being that there's
Have
no
to be able
job.
to.
I mean-
no job beneath a brewer at
You know,
this
they
point.
say if you don't know how to clean up, you can't be a brewer.
No.
It's 2/3 of the job is cleaning up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But, and then we have a cellarman named Nico, and he was a bartender when I hired in, and he eventually expressed he'd like to go in the back, and there was an opportunity for a third brewer person in the back, and so he's now back there as a cellarman, and excuse me, the way my understanding is going to be is Justin, our head brewer, will be doing recipe development, overseeing our logistics and stuff, but Maddie and Nico will be handling the bulk of the brewing down south, and Justin will be up here doing our barrels and
Yeah.
tweaking everything and overseeing. He'll be the brewery overlord, overseeing everything.
We've got an overlord. We've got Nico the cellarman. I mean, this is like
It's like Lord of the Rings.
I was
I
going
was
to
gonna
say
say, we got a
true
fantasy
Game of
novel.
Thrones.
Yeah,
like
it's-
this is amazing.
What's aside from the barrels? Is there any other brewing going on back there? I saw some big tanks. I mean,
So no, we're going to still continue doing 100% of our brewing in Centennial right
Okay.
now. Those tanks that you see back there, those will be used for like mixing or blending, I guess is the technical term, and conditioning is, if I'm understanding that correctly, because there is no equipment up here for like brewing. There's no mash tun, there's no boil kettle, nothing to produce.
Not even a test or a small batch kit.
Nope, no
Okay.
small batch or anything.
So then, forgive me for sounding like a complete dumbass, but I do that a lot on this.
That's what makes
show.
us unique.
Yeah,
It endears you to people, Jay. Don't worry.
that and not a lot else. The brewing itself occurs in DTC.
yes.
The barrel aging occurs up here.
Yeah.
What's going on in between? I mean, are you loading beer recipes into the barrels in DTC and then bringing it up here just for storage and space, or
So
walk me through what you can?
what I can say is I don't know the mechanics of how it gets here, but the fermented beer will be transported up here either already in a barrel or to be placed in a barrel.
Okay.
Already in barrels? All right.
Where-
Confirmed by one of our brewers.
Yeah.
Matt
We've got
G.
a brewer now.
Assistant brewer slash
So
mopper.
now I got to really watch my mouth.
Yeah.
But so we're going to be transporting up here in the barrels. And so that room that we're looking at, our barrel room, is temperature, humidity, pretty much climate controlled for optimal barrel aging conditions and stuff. So, and I didn't want to rat ourselves out, but the barrels that we're looking at right now along here are actually all empty. those were the barrels that the beers we're drinking right now were in.
That's all right.
So it gives you the view of what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
And we're currently working to fill those up with actually beer filled barrels and stuff.
Nice. Well, it's great ambiance. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
I was for a minute there hoping that Sam Layle would tell us that the beer barrel ferry was dropping them off somewhere in between DTC and here, because just to segue really well with the rest of the fantasy world that we ran down here a few minutes ago.
I misread that situation. And that
No.
was on me again.
That was you know what? I had to throw it out there. So
Yeah.
No, I dig it. I like it. Obviously, crowlers are big players here and at the location down south.
Yeah.
Any other ways for people to get the packaged stuff and leave?
We just recently started packaging 16-ounce cans to go.
Ooh.
In fact, unfortunately, I think unless we don't have any in
I'm
there.
looking at the fridge right now. I'm like longing for one.
The last release we did was that fluffy.
Oh,
and
damn.
Yeah. I know for a fact we sold off the last of our cans down in Centennial over the weekend. So it looks like they've burned through theirs up here too.
Wow.
But
maybe sneaking out with some crowlers of the fluffy if that's
There you
on
go.
if that's on the menu here.
we'll see what we can do. But yeah, so we just started doing 16-ounce can packaging, really small amounts.
Okay.
We're talking maybe a dozen or so cases of stuff.
Strictly in the tap rooms only, not
Yep.
for release in liquor stores.
Correct.
Or, okay.
Yep. We're not
Great.
looking to get out in there at this point. We're just kind of dipping our toes in. We got a couple of little 2-barrel baby fermenters that once now that we're open, I think the brewers can start having a little more fun with that.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, taking some of our main beers off a tank and doing 2 barrels of it with some adjuncts or doing something to it. Whatever. I don't know what they're going to do. That's their world, and I don't play in their sandbox. And welcome everyone to my sandbox, as marketing usually goes.
Yeah,
But,
creative license on their end, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of cat shit in that sandbox.
Yeah. Some of it's mine too. I'll be honest with you.
Okay, well that's cool. That's cool. They get that
Yeah.
little bit of flexibility.
So right now we've been kind of cherry picking a few beers. We did a collaboration with Something Brewery up in, I believe, Broomfield. I know it's one of the B burbs
up there.
So we did 2 beers with them. Those were our first cans, and then we did a canning of Tangential, which was a mimosa-inspired brute ale.
Oh,
It's a
damn.
tongue twister.
Wow.
That sounds amazing.
It is, and I think, we're out of it.
Damn.
I would have loved to give you guys some of that. That's one of my
Barrel. That was a barrel aged too.
It was not barrel aged.
okay.
It was
That's
just
all right.
it was just made with Sauvignon Blanc grapes and I believe a
Jeez.
tangerine puree.
That's amazing.
So it just tasted like a mimosa in a glass. It was nuts. And then Fluffy was the last one, which has been a fan favorite since we released that last summer.
So that's is that on the reg there then, the fluffy?
At this point, we've done it annually.
Okay.
And Justin's
But
been
when
here
it-
for
when it
just
goes,
a
it
year and a
goes.
half.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so far.
Okay.
They might make it again. I don't know what their
That's all
brewing
right.
schedule is, and I believe we have another sour coming up that is going to be going in a can, if I'm not mistaken. So
Great.
Hopefully, I'm not spoiler alerting anything, and hopefully, I'm not just straight up lying to
Yeah,
anybody.
the good news is there's anywhere from a 5-minute to 2-week delay on our recording then to the release
Cut it
date.
out.
So
Excellent.
Yeah.
yeah.
Always.
Sam J can keep it clean. He looks like he's got a question, but I'm going to cut in here.
Yeah, go ahead.
So where else can you get the beer? Restaurants?
Yes, so we have bar accounts all around Denver and in Denver.
Okay. What about Boulder? Anybody in Boulder? We're looking at. I can see Boulder. I feel like. From
I
here.
honestly don't know all of our accounts.
Can smell the weed from here.
Right?
Is that what that smoke is coming up over the rise?
Was that Boulder? I thought it was one of you guys.
Hey, I'm working here.
We only drink
We're
during the
working
day.
here.
That's actually funny because I was thinking on my drive up here that every once in a while I give up drinking at home during the week, and it just occurred to me that like the best policy might just be I only drink during working hours.
That's good. I mean, that's
I should put that. I should put that on the back of my business card.
Yeah, I love
You
that.
should. If you, I'll test it out. I'll try that myself.
There
too.
you go. There you go.
Only during working
Nope.
hours.
Trademark.
I only work 50
Copyright.
hours a week, and I'm just drinking those 50.
Yeah,
that's
that's
it.
part of the job.
But I totally forgot what I was saying.
We were
Don't worry about it. Yeah, Boulder accounts. Not a big deal.
We were talking about where else to get it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think the last I heard, we have like 130-ish
Okay.
off, or that would be considered on-premise because you drink it at the bar.
Right.
Accounts around the greater Denver area, and it's it varies depending on. They have the kegs, doesn't mean it's on tap. So.
Right.
Gotcha. So my last comment, and then I'm going to let Sam J finish up or whatever he's got to say. If the Columbine 4 needs some advice on one additional thing that I think this place needs is a drive-through window, dude. I mean, seriously, like right out back, you could just stick one out there and hand it out as people go by.
If only we could.
Yeah, I'm
on,
pretty
I-
sure we legally can't do that. I don't
Well,
know. Actually, I
you
don't know.
can have a drive-through liquor store in Denver. Why can't you? Well, I guess we're not in Denver.
No, we are in Arvada.
I don't know how that works.
Is that a Colorado thing or a Denver thing?
I've always heard it was a Texas thing.
Yeah.
Well,
they
no,
have in
but we can
Texas.
do it. You can do it in Denver too.
Oh, you're right. There's a place down the street from my old joint.
Yeah,
it's
the-
called Scotty's Liquor. It has a little drive-through window.
The only drive-through liquor that I can think of, I used to walk up to the window and they would yell at me. But
The
well,
one
that
that's off
seems like the
25?
responsible way to go.
Broadway and Evans,
Broadway and Evans.
yeah, right next to the old famous pizza place. There's another one at Logan and Alameda. They did not like it when you walked up to the window.
Now,
Didn't
while it's
care.
not a drive-through, this brings up something interesting that happened on Friday. We work with a place called Craft Alley. So
Oh, yeah.
I forgot to mention that is one place you can get our beer.
Okay.
Sorry, Craft Alley. Love you, boys and gals.
No, they're great. They're
Yeah,
fantastic.
But
yeah.
they opened up a beer garden this weekend and had a little happy hour. And basically, they set it up so there's a window on the side, and you can walk up, order a beer, and then go sit on the in their grassy area behind the place along the side, and they have a little bit in the front too. And I didn't look at the menu when I ordered. I just said, I'm looking for something Belgian, and the lady's like, "You try this one out." I'm like, "Okay." And it was, I don't know, $7 or $8. I'm like, "All right, that's steep." They hand
you
me
haven't
a-
spent enough time in breweries.
well, I don't
No,
know.
I'm just
Either way, no, I know I haven't, but still, I was like, okay, whatever. Maybe I don't. It doesn't matter. Either way, they hand me a 32-ounce can of this shit, and I'm like, whoa, this is like.
Was it from Belgium?
No, it was from Launchpad Brewing, so it was
Oh, okay.
it was a local crowler.
I don't
but-
even know what Craft Alley is, so I feel like
Oh man,
fear of taking up more podcast time, Sam.
if I could sum it up in two things, it's a liquor store that sells crowlers from local craft breweries.
Seriously?
It's pretty awesome.
Seriously,
Yep.
Where the hell is it?
it's like by Wash Park on Pearl and like Arkansas,
Oh,
Yes.
it's on
Yes, it's,
South Pearl Street.
just south of
Is it
Louisiana.
in an old
No,
house?
it-
it's
or-
in the
no,
old house.
I don't know my directions that well. It's by Louisiana. It is.
It's
in
next
an
door
old
to
house.
Chaos Pizza.
It is.
Is it?
by a pizza place? I don't know if it's Chaos Pizza.
Yeah.
There's a
It might be.
restaurant
Yes,
there.
it might be.
There's
I
a
know
restaurant there.
I know
like
what
right
we're
next
talking
door.
about. I've been in there. I didn't realize that was.
There's also a swaggier restaurant just down the street a little bit on Pearl where I saw a Maserati parked out once. So
Yeah, that would be the tavern.
yeah.
How
And
much
nor
can
the
you tell
sushi
us
joint.
about the 5-year plan? Because I'm wondering, and I'm going to be
man.
completely frank, like, this beer is good.
Yeah.
You guys have
5-year
had success over 3 years. You just have. There's clearly not a lot of stress, financial stress being placed on Resolute, especially if you're going to take the risk to open up here. I'm thinking like the news breaks today that Molly's is going to open up their second location on Arapahoe, which is, right next to where you're making beer. Is that the plan, or is it, let's stick to selling over the bar?
I unfortunately am not in the inner circle enough to know the 5-year plan, but I know we've talked plenty about trying to get into distribution like that. So we are in liquor stores, opening up additional locations, even with some other concepts than just a brewery. So without also knowing what I should and shouldn't be saying.
Right.
That's as much as I'll be able to get out there. But there are plans for growth in various ways. And I don't think I'm saying anything online saying, we want to get into distribution. We want to get a little bit more local, or not local, a little bit more in the state in terms of into liquor stores,
right.
and try to grow out of state.
Larger accounts and further reaches of space.
Yeah. That was the shitty thing about it. Was Heritage, right? That's what it used to be, that closed down by Sprouts on Arapahoe. Was it Heritage?
Yes.
No, it's the other one. Heritage is still there.
What was it called?
Heritage is my guy Phil.
I know which one you're talking about. It's by the poke place I go to.
Yeah, it's right there.
It's attached to Sprouts. It's shut down. Part of the
but they had
part of the scandal off South Happy Canyon Road and the next.
Yeah, I mean it was all part of Glaciers. What Glaciers? Yeah, South. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, there's a cluster there.
I shouldn't say much, but one of my old caddy buddies is like their salesman.
We're cutting this one out. I can tell you we're cutting this out. So.
No, but I mean, but they. The reason why I kind of asked that too is because they would have the kind of beer that you couldn't get. Like I got Ratio beer there. I got
Heritage.
Local
I mean, and
Board.
Heritage
Okay,
has
yeah.
Heritage has a good selection too. So
but that kind of like south part of town, Littleton, Centennial stuff. Brewers would put their beer. If they had a 12-pack,
they would seek it out. Is what you're saying?
Yeah,
just to put it on the shelf.
I think it's fascinating that with if you want to get a little broad, the beer industry in general right now is getting interesting because you can, with a bit of ingenuity and if you're willing to put the work in, you can get into weird places. I ran into a friend of mine who is a sales manager for Cerebral Brewing. I ran into her at Molly's. When I was up in, I don't even live up in that part of town, but I was there for whatever reason buying some beer, and I ran into her. Her name's Samantha, so another Sammy.
So many
Sams. I know, right?
Sam
Never known
Petty,
this many Sams in my entire life.
We're
But I was like, "What are you doing up here?" And she was delivering crowlers to Molly's.
Okay.
And she was like, "Yeah, I basically have to have these things hand filled and put together and sell them here, but." With, like I said, a little ingenuity, a little elbow grease, and the want to, you can get into a lot of places and stuff.
I think
like that.
the key word there is self-distributing. Like you don't sign any agreements, right? That's where the shit gets weird. But
as somebody who loves beer, though, what happened on January 1st, I think, is actually benefiting the beer drinker more than I even expected.
Man, I can't
it's
decide.
crazy.
I still struggle with that.
I mean, prices are going up a little bit in King Supers than they were maybe on January 2nd. You and I had talked about that.
You get a
they've six-pack of
definitely
drum roll for $8.
definitely
and now
been
it's back up to 10.
As a- I've been
creeping
paying
up.
attention.
Yeah, it's weird too. I'm in a place where lately Tanya's doing the grocery shopping, so I'm not.
But I guess in order for liquor stores to compete, they have to do this kind of
Yeah,
stuff. where
for
it's
sure.
Okay,
So
you're not
yeah,
gonna get that
so
at
you,
King Supers,
you get
but
a Heritage,
yeah.
you get a Molly's, you get a Tipsy's that really are reaching out to budget beer drinkers and craft beer drinkers, but then also, unbeknownst to me, Craft Alley, which used to be in my backyard, I guess. I mean, it sounds like we need more of those, right? Like a tiny little liquor store dedicated 100% or maybe a little bit less to craft brewing in general.
Yeah.
Something that benefits the brewers and the brewery.
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
to me like the Columbine 4 have got another thing on their agenda, which is the next Craft Alley. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Do they listen to the podcast? You better push
We'll
this
find
to
out,
them.
huh?
Yeah, no kidding. We'll see if Sam Sly's here in a couple of
Yeah,
weeks.
you guys release this, and if I still have a job, we'll see.
We're in good shape. Yeah.
No, you were fantastic, Sam. Is there anything you want to cover that we haven't to kind of push the new spot? I mean, you want to give people the address actually, because that was relatively hard to find.
Sure.
Yeah,
it
and
wasn't that.
actually,
I mean,
I've
On Google Maps. Sorry.
from my perspective, I've been struggling with where they put our pin on Google Maps.
yeah.
I've asked them to change
seriously,
it a billion times.
it dropped me right here.
Did it good?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
you're one of the few people that actually did that. For
No, I
us,
mean,
so
and I
hell
came
yeah.
from literally next door to the DTC location, and I mapped it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No weird issues. No
Sometimes
problems.
it'll drop us in that neighborhood over there, and
Okay.
Apple Maps is so unupdated. This is still a dirt plot on Apple Maps. So.
Apple Maps is terrible.
Yeah, I know.
Luckily,
Luckily, I don't use Apple.
They're
so
our next interview, so
good. Let them know my displeasure.
If we ever get to that,
Pass
I
this
think
note
we
along to them.
made it,
Get your
yeah.
shit together.
Yeah, we won't be drinking craft beer. We're drinking Yes,
So
Cavassier.
So the address here is 18148 West 92nd Lane. We're in Suite 100. You can't miss us. There's a huge sign on top of the building. We're in Arvada. Zip code's 80007. Beautiful views of the foothills here, and also a bunch of rooftops. We have a massive patio with games, tables. I think we have a chest full of blankets. I read in an email now. If it gets chilly out,
Well,
fireplace.
that's kind of a new addition to the brewery scene.
Yeah, this the fun thing compared to Centennial is this patio is. I mean, our patio in Centennial is great, but this one's so much
Limitless.
cooler.
Yeah. And green space, is that for dogs or kids?
People, not dogs.
Okay,
Dogs should go
okay.
across
Yeah,
to
there's
where they're
plenty of
eventually be growing grass. They got the mulch down, but
plenty
They'll
of
keep your
space.
kids on a leash always.
yeah, we're
I
working
mean,
on
the
some
views are
signage for
just
that.
insane. My
And this
God.
is like a quick jaunt off Highway 93 if I can. Like, I didn't come that way, but I feel like from 93 to this spot.
Yeah, it's like a mile over to 93,
Yeah,
basically.
so
Maybe a little less than a mile.
If you're in Boulder, if you're in Golden, if you're in West Lakewood, Jeffco.
What about if you're in Denver? How do
Yeah,
you get
anywhere in Denver. I mean, don't get me wrong.
there? What would you
Those
say?
are- those
you
are the
guys
direct-
you
those
make
are the
drive, you make
direct
drive every
routes.
day. What's the fastest way
From where I come in Denver, it's
Yeah.
easiest to come out from 6
Okay.
until that just drops into 93 and
Yeah.
come up
Go
to
there?
72
Yeah.
and hang a right.
And
Gotcha.
that's the way I should have come, and I let Google tell me what to do.
Did they bring you up Indiana?
No.
okay.
Highway 36 to Sheridan to 92nd that turns into 88 or some
That sounds
bullshit
like a
like that.
whole thing,
And
yeah.
then I was on 88th Avenue all the way across for like, I don't know, I've never driven 45 miles an hour before. Like that took
Never in your
forever.
life?
Yeah, never.
Not
ever.
even during your driving
never,
test?
Never, ever. As a father of a almost driving teenager, no, never.
Well, upon that note,
Yeah,
because I got
we're
an email to add a student to one of my classes. I have
oh
to
yeah, add a
respond.
kid or drop a kid's grade or
add a kid.
Yeah.
Sam, thank you very much for having us up here.
My pleasure, guys. Thank
this
you for
was, I mean, it's well worth the jaunt. If you're coming home from Boulder, if you're coming home from Fort Collins, if you're in Golden and you're doing a little brewery tour, definitely get up this way and just kind of take it all in because the views. I feel like sometimes in Golden you're almost too close,
Trapped,
right?
yeah. You're trapped.
You can't really see.
Yeah.
You don't have some perspective always. But here, I mean, the clouds are kind of coming in. You can see the fog, and it's
yeah, I
fucking
can see
beautiful.
I can see the flat irons. I mean,
Yeah.
and you don't have to be coming from anywhere. Come from home,
Yeah, true.
have a beer.
Will the light rail ever come up here?
I don't know if they'll come here, but the light rail is finally running to Old Town Arvada, so you can get like within 13 miles of where we are. I
That's
think.
a pretty damn expensive Uber from Old
Yeah,
Town Arvada
yeah.
to here.
Okay, well,
But-
cheers to Sam.
Yeah,
Thank
cheers
you, my
to you
friend.
guys. Sam,
Thank you.
Jay.
Appreciate this so
Appreciate you
much.
guys.
Everybody, yeah, you have a fantastic. Is it Tuesday?